What's poppin'? So, this is a special what if. So, this is what if Broly went with Goku. So yeah, in this version, King Vegeta completely lies to Paragus. They actually just dumped Broly on Earth, same way, like the way they were going to send him. The planet is on the other side of the universe. Sorry about that, guys. There's some guy on a motorcycle revving it up. It's like literally past fucking midnight. What the fuck, man? Anyway, yeah. So, Goku and Broly are actually both sent there. Broly is actually a lot older than Goku, though. By, I'd say, around 5 years. So here's what the problem is. A 5-year-old would not make sense. Although I am going to say in this version, Grandpa Gohan found them because Goku and him were sent around the same time in this version. They were sent when Broly was 5 and Goku was 1. Broly had no clue who the fuck he was. Because in this version, when he came in landing, he bashed his head into the ground. And got completely blood down his skull. While Goku landed on top of him. As a baby. So he decided to name one of them Goku. And Broly can only remember one thing. Broly. Was the first word he ever said. Is that your name there, kid? Yes, I think so. That's the only word he remembers. So Goku got named Goku and Broly was Broly. Luckily enough. Now, this would lead to a few differences. One, Broly is a little bit different towards people than Goku was. He's 5 years older and he stands above everyone. Like, literally. There he has been, sometimes he's gone pissed off and no one can stop him except for Goku. But even then, Goku can barely even stop him. So if y'all can hear the dogs in the background, guys, I don't know how to deal with those. They're not mine, so yeah. But this is where we have to deal with the actual events. For Dragon Ball, when Bulma finds them, she only sees Goku and shoots him a few times. This alerts Broly. Broly flies in the same way he did against Chilai and punches a clean hole through the truck with a punch ready for Bulma, hearing "Stop!" by Goku. Broly saying, "Sorry." As Goku came with 2 fishes, as he's actually way stronger. He does consider Broly his older brother, though. Although, as quiet as he was, it made very little sense. Now, he was actually way different in strength. They all were. But Goku was a serious fucking monster. Because whenever he turned into his Ozaru form, no one but Broly could stop him. And Broly never really turned into an Ozaru form. His tail kind of got ripped off whenever he was... It didn't really get ripped off, but like, it almost did. Almost. So, yeah. Here's what we're going with. Broly lands on Earth with Goku, so that happens. Bulma winds up meeting them the same way. She met Goku, only with a lot more shitting in her pants because of how bullshitly scary Goku is. Tries flirting with Broly. Broly saying, "Not interested." Still having the same sentimental connection with Grandpa Gohan and the ball. Goku saying, "Alright, but we have to go with you." Broly saying, "That would be fine." Alright, seeing that neither of them have ever taken a bath, she actually teaches them how to wash their hair. Broly, whenever he took a bath, he was just scrubbing up on his chest and everything and his back. Though he said, "Help, please." This is when Bulma said, "What's wrong?" "Even with my tail, I can't really get my back." Huh, a big fella like you, makes sense. She has to wash his back for him and actually has to wash Goku's hair. Even a little bit actually winds up washing his hair too. Broly saying, "Thank you." Very quiet guy. But this is when they go through the whole thing. Sorry guys, I just got stabbed by a cactus in my leg. Well, whatever. Kicking the thorns out, we're good. So yeah, as Goku basically, Bulma said, y'all can sleep on the floor. Goku wakes up earliest, does the same shit, wound up taking Bulma's panties off the same way he wound up doing in canon. This is where the most fucked up thing happens. They meet Roshi, that all happens as canon, but in this version, when they have to deal with the Red Ribbon Army, I'm just going to skip over to the Red Ribbon Army since nothing really important happens until then. We're going to flash forward to whenever he has to deal with number 8. If y'all don't know, number 8 is a giant fucking android. He looks like Frankenstein. He's big as fuck. He towers over everyone and is, in my own opinion, the biggest fucking android. Now, I'm not really talking like he's just a monster, but he is. He's also one of the most powerful androids during that time. With strength, easily able to shatter chains by just flexing his arms, and being a pacifist, too. So, in this version, Broly saying, I understand you. Wouldn't you like to take up martial arts, though? What do you mean? These two Goliaths talking like it was no big deal, while Goku was being the one to do stuff. This is when android number 8 would say, you see, and then they would have the conversation, Broly and him would talk and be like, I understand you. Maybe I should do martial arts. Not just to hurt people, it's pretty fun. Besides, you'll always have someone you can fight that's stronger than you. Well, yeah, and who's that? As Broly said, me. No way. You can't be that strong. As he basically said, you shattered those chains pretty nicely, but try making it where they turn to ash when you flex. That you can do that? It's possible, yeah. That is awesome. Yeah, but I only can do it when I'm pissed off. Cool. As they basically, go back and forth. They would have to deal with that would all happen as canon. In this version, though, he said, I'll stay in the village. Android 8 said that as he strengthened his fist, doing the turtle style of martial art, making his already huge size and speed crazy for someone that powerful. As, well, Android number 8 was starting to do stuff that no one had ever done other than Broly. He was so fast on his feet even though he's so large. And in this version, whenever they have to deal with Tien, he actually has no fucking chance. Goku's as strong as Tien in this version. So Goku winds up still losing because of the techniques. But against Broly, who actually was supposed to fight Goku, he wanted to fight Goku. Instead, he has to fight Tien. He says, you beat my brother. Good job. Can you do it without your friend's help? How do you know whatever, I'll beat you the same way. Actually, keeping up the same strength, though Broly was still holding back, as he actually one-shot Tien with a full force, sending Tien flying as Chaozu tried helping, just for it to not do anything. Now the only two that were really a threat were, well, there wasn't anyone that was a threat, since Broly just knocks out Tien, and Chaozu's surprised that he was even able to move with all the force he was trying to use to stop him. Broly saying, not quite good enough. Goku realizing he has his stuff left there, Krillin going to get it, and Krillin dying. That being said, they wound up doing the whole thing, they had their time skip and shit. But in this version, that time skip goes way different. While Goku did train on Kami's lookout, so did Broly. And they could feel... Kami could feel the dark energy from neither of them. And they were both pure-hearted individuals. This is where they actually do have their fine fight. That fight against Piccolo, they just jump his ass. Then they have the fight against everyone else. Not even a big deal. Then we have the actual moment with Raditz. Years pass, which Broly has actually settled down more, and he still fights. His strength is actually only second to Goku's. After Goku surpassed him in strength, Broly never really had a goal to go back to being the number 1. He found it to be way too boring. Besides, he knew his brother would always be a good number 1, while he was just an always in case of emergency usage. Which technique-wise, Goku was actually better than Broly. Broly was more of a fist-to-fist, like, brawler, while Goku was more of a technique-based. So you got sheer power, sheer technique, and this is when Broly's power level would actually be around the level of 600, Goku's would be 650, would be about 603, and the entirety of Zoro's are actually around more along the lines of 5 instead of being 2 to 3. So yeah. Piccolo is actually Piccolo Jr.'s power level is a huge difference. It's actually a good 650. Though his power level is the highest, he's also the least trained, surprisingly enough. So yeah. Even if he tries brawling full force to Broly, it's not an even fight. Though that's when all of them are weighted down. Whenever they all take their gear off, Broly's power level spikes up to 800, Goku's to 805, and Piccolo's, sadly, his doesn't go as high as it only goes to 800, only to 750. Well, 799. Being just a little bit weaker than Broly, never being able to match quite power to power with Broly, though Goku could technique and knock them both out. Though Krillin was honestly the strongest one in technique, even stronger than Goku. He just wasn't physically strong enough to advance on that one. Anyway, back to the what if. When they aren't even really surprised by the strength of Raditz, they're just like, holy shit, he's stronger than all of us. Who could this guy be? Really not being afraid. If he sided with Piccolo, he might be a threat, but not really. If need be, they just have to go into their Ozaru forms, which Goku and Broly kept their tails. This is when Piccolo starts. This is when the when Raditz would start talking shit, being like, "You're my brother." It's like, wait, no, but this is my only older brother. That's not your older brother. That's son of Paragus. Admittedly a strong warrior, but he's not brother to you. He's not blood related. No, but he's been more of a brother to me over the past 20 years than you ever could have been. Oh, really? Let me see your power level, dear brother. See if you're even near my strength. Holy shit. Both of you are that strong. You're weaker than me. But you're not weak. As this is when they would actually wind up having their weight gear take off, as they couldn't grab him in time for Raditz to have taken Gohan and saying goodbye. Though, while in this version, Launch isn't forgotten. She married Broly, and they have a daughter who's there right next to Gohan when they get snatched up. This is when Broly's actually about to lose control. Goku's like, oh, shit. If he doesn't... Saying, calm down, bud. Calm down. You can do that on him, but he's got the kids in his hands right now. He can't do it right now. With the kids' power levels only being 5 and 7, respectively. Still. They couldn't just attack with all they had. That'd be stupid. If they did that, they'd die. Obviously. Though, this is where, in the complete difference with Goku, he utterly beat the hell. He was wanting to beat the hell out of his apparent older brother, Raditz. And being told his name was Kakarot? Weird. But this is when he would say, I needed your attention. Now that only Saiyans are here. Cracking his neck because Piccolo wasn't there yet, since, he didn't expect Piccolo to be there yet for a while, at least. Alright. Can you have any mastery over your Ozaru forms? Broly saying, a little bit. Goku saying, not really. I just aim towards something and attack. I can just point at one thing, though. That's good enough, right? No. But at least it's not a blind rage, but still. That's nothing to where you should be. But listen. I want you to join me. We are trying to fight a tyrant named Frieza. Though, not knowing to him, Frieza was listening in, and so was Vegeta. Then when they both said no, he said, why not? We'll need your help. Broly, you were strongest. You're even stronger than the prince when you were a baby. What happened? Your power level's far stronger than this. This is when Broly said, you don't see that unless I'm pissed off. Oh, really? So all I have to do is piss you off to show you that you're the rightful heir to the throne. Don't do it, Goku started saying. This is when Raz would actually threaten Broly's daughter. When you hear, how dare you! Everyone turning their heads, hearing the loud roar of thunder. Even Piccolo, who just arrived. Krillin, who's actually right behind them, just got there right after Piccolo. Tien and Yamcha, who were both there, as they had to deal with everything they had to get there. Though they're pretty much exhausted trying to get there. They literally were using all their power to fly there. And admittedly, they weren't that fast. So yeah, they kind of struggled with that one. They all landed and said, oh shit. Tien like, oh hell no. That's your problem. Piccolo saying, I'm not dealing with that one. Goku saying, we'll all need to team up to stop him. Goku, I thought you could stop him on your own. No, not even I could. What do you mean, not even you could? Even if I use that power, I would still get my ass whooped. What do you mean? Broly isn't going into his normal pissed off form. What do you mean? What's he going into? His super pissed off form. Which, ironic, since it was actually Super Saiyan. As his muscles grew, and he actually went into his Ozaru form, which actually stomped right into Raditz. Raditz being terrified, having a little fake moon projector thing in his pod, which got activated whenever Gohan did his full power and got out of there, thinking his father was in danger. This is where Broly's daughter would see the full moon, as well as Gohan, and they would both transform. Though, even in their transformed state, they're not quite on the same level of danger as Broly. Not even by a long shot. Their power levels are 50 and 770. They're not even a threat. This is when you hear Goku yell, Krillin! Krillin turning his head saying, what? I want you to handle the kids. At least try to slow them down. Oh, that won't even be a difficult thing for me, Goku. Good. Everyone else, we have to stop Broly before he kills my older brother or whatever. I don't care if that guy is my older brother. He deserves to get his ass whooped for what he said, but I'm not wanting anyone to die. This is when Goku would fly forward, being the first to jump and try spear tackling the man who he thought was his older brother. He was able to actually slow him down, though that only worked for a second, as Broly was in such a blind wrath, he didn't even see the man he thought was his little brother. He beat the ever-loving shit out of Raditz, even until Raditz looked up while injured and said, turning into his Ozaru form, noting that now he was stronger than Broly again, as Broly's hair went blonde, thinking he saw his daughter laying there unconscious, thinking the worst would have happened. This is where he grits his teeth, turns into his golden-haired form. Broly, terrified, saying, The legendary Super Saiyan, it can't be. Even in his Ozaru form, he's scared shitless as he's getting his ass whooped. This is when Goku powers up into his full force, and said, I have to use it. Using the power of the Ozaru form, like Broly did before, powering up into 10 times his normal strength, and then yelling, Kamehameha, blowing Broly's tail off. This is where Broly would say, what the? Waking up, being completely passed out, being exhausted after using such strength. Wow. Raditz collapsing as well. Krillin, yeah, is the kids alright? They're fine. I literally just knocked them both out. Alright, what about their tails? Are they taken off yet? No, we didn't really remove the tails. I just knocked them out and let them shrink back down. Alright, that works. And then he's saying, alright, now what about Well, let's get them to the hospital, as Bulma pulls up saying, alright, put them all on a med stretcher and getting them not into a regular hospital, to her own personal hospital that was made just for in case Goku got injured fighting Broly, or vice versa. Now, this was only used about 3 times before, as they were only powerhouses that usually ever go in here. And the only real medicine they had was the senzu beans, a few beds, and a shitload of food. So, they do this. Goku is able to sit down, eat, as he has to even get a senzu bean. Giving his 2 brothers, giving Broly and Rats one each, them waking up saying, back to full force. Then saying the kids are fine, they were just a little tired after being in their transformations to Ozaru. We all get that way when we're younger. Broly then thinking, yeah, I guess we do. This is when, out of everyone, Rats would say, huh, so y'all are both parents. Good for you. I just really need to see the power, see if it could actually handle Frieza. And I'll tell you this, that was more than enough. Your power level was way too high. What do you mean? Well, I mean, your power level was around, 8,000 when you were when you were pissed off. Yeah. Well, they usually wouldn't be a threat. With the Super Saiyan's 50-time multiplier, as he said that, as he showed that he had a scouter on, that was an easy power level of 400,000, saying if you were to use that against that tyrant Frieza, wait, no, it was about 400,000. If you were to use that against Frieza, we'd be set, we'd be perfect. We could actually survive. That's almost as strong as he is. And hell, if you were actually full forcing it even more, because I saw your energy growing. Even for a second, your hair turned a little shade of green. And the scouter couldn't even process your power. Then again, these things almost blow up when when someone's too strong for them. But that could only scout up to Frieza's power level of 530,000. You're perfect. If it couldn't search yours, that means it was too strong for that. That means for at least a moment you were stronger than Frieza. And with Vegeta there, it'll be perfect. Vegeta's saying, bullshit. I highly doubt. At most, he's 8,000. There's no way he's on power level with me. I'll be there in 1 year. Hearing this saying, oh shit. Broly, can you just go in that power anytime? No, I have to be pissed off. Oh, we're fucked. What do you mean? Both of you are weaker than me without being in that form. Hell, Goku, I saw your power level increase to 10 times. What was that about? It's basically my equivalent of that. We call it Fury. Or, basically when we get to harness the power of the Ozaru into us without, being in Ozaru form. Wow. That'd be powerful to learn. You're right, it is. Well, anyway, let's do this. As they would all basically teach themselves how to fight and everything, and they would train over the time. After about halfway, they wind up going to meet King Kai, learning the Kaioken easily. The Spirit Bomb, not as easily. Goku was the only one who really who wound up learning the Spirit Bomb. And yeah. I mean, they learned how to do it, but they didn't really feel a need to do much more. When they get there to the fight, everyone's already on their ass. Piccolo's dead. Tien's dead. Everyone's dead except for Krillin and Gohan. And, surprisingly enough, Broly's daughter is at the fight. She's not dead, but she's at the fight. This is when you see Nappa about to try stomping on her and Gohan. For Goku to be surprisingly the only one to for Broly to be the one to actually spear tackle him and almost tear him in half, saying, "Stay off of my daughter and niece. Stay away from my daughter." Hearing this, actually shit scared, saying, "Oh, try to make me," as a punch hit clean through Nappa, blowing his back on the ground, knocking him out, saying, "Luckily a Saiyan should be able to take that kind of an attack." Ratson said, "Yeah, but if we don't get him to a hospital, he's probably gonna die." "Oh, well, don't worry, he'll be fine." Them going to deal with, as this is when Rats would actually, I'll take him to a hospital and get him healed up. Besides, he's not even a big threat. Fair point. As Goku and Broly started beating the hell out of Vegeta, both their power levels at this point being easily 20,000, with their tails still there. They wind up fighting until Vegeta winds up backing away and losing. He winds up abandoning that. He winds up abandoning Nappa and leaves. This is where Nappa would wake up saying, "Who dare?" As he gets punched clean, knocked out again. He wakes up a few minutes later, exhausted, saying, "What?" As getting a few punches to the face was more than enough to put his senses back on him. Not to trust these people. This is where, surprisingly enough, Broly would say, "Listen up. We know you're a Saiyan and you were a strong one. You knew our fathers. So tell me, do you think you could have beat them?" "No, I couldn't." "Think you could beat us?" "Probably not. Being that it only took one of you to whoop my ass." "You're right. Now, come on. We have to hit Planet Namek. We want you to join us. Would you do that?" Seeing as Vegeta would have killed me for losing, sure, I'll join you. It's actually meaning that they wound up joining him. They were more than capable of fighting, and them joining was perfect. So yeah. And by them joining, I mean Nappa joined. Everyone, like the actual group, the same one that was sent. But then in this version, said group with just Gohan, Krillin, and Bulma had that ship made for 4 grown-ass men. Surprisingly enough, only one of them was able to really handle 20 times Earth's gravity. And that's because 10 times Earth's gravity was straight up what King Kai's planet was, and that's what they were training in. Like it was nothing. And I'm gonna say Nappa because it stated that Earth is like a 10th the gravity of planet Vegeta, so I'm gonna say he's completely fine too. They could get up to 15 times, and even Goku is struggling to go on that one. This is where he would strengthen up his ki and go into his like controlled Ozaru form, where he would go into his Fury form, and even Raditz would go into that as Broly stood there too. Nappa saying, "How are you so easy on this?" This is when they turned that off and saying, "Simple. We need to train to get up there. We need to teach you how to use all this ability." They teach him the ability. Namek goes basically as canon until they get there. Goku, being not the only Saiyan there, did mean that he couldn't get the same way, but he was stronger than he was in canon. By far. All of them were. They were able to jump Frieza. Then Goku still went Super Saiyan after seeing Krillin die. But in this version, whenever Nappa saw Vegeta die, even though he knew Vegeta would have killed him for failing, he still cared about Vegeta. So his power spiked up and actually went into a Super Saiyan form of his own. Though it was more along the lines of false Super Saiyan, as Goku went into Super Saiyan, Broly being sad because he still was good friends with Krillin. Goes into his own Super Saiyan form, he goes into his Berserk form. As the ground shakes, Raditz, who really didn't care that much, didn't really care, still strengthened up his power. He didn't go into his Super Saiyan form though. kind of sad that he didn't, though he is a little enraged. He hits the ground, and he actually shows a false Super Saiyan, saying, "Yes, I can do it." They all go in there and start beating the hell out of Frieza. Think that old fight back meme? Fight back, fight back, fight back? Basically doing that to him. They're literally telling him to fight back, and he is not. Even in his final form, he's not doing jack shit. As Frieza then was left, Goku telling them, "Don't kill him. He's had his fight. Don't come back." As they had still made the same wishes and everything, while Broly wanted to go back to Earth. So when they made that wish to send them back to Earth, the Saiyan boys back to Earth, that worked except for Goku. On all but Goku, as Goku had just, one still going to Yard Rat and all that and saying he could trust him to protect the Earth. They get back there. And 1 year later, Goku arrives. Same with Frieza's arrival. All that happens is canon. That's not a big deal. Just for Vegeta to not even have Super Saiyan yet. But Raditz is actually trained to the point where, even with the Prince, the Prince has unlocked False Super Saiyan. And Raditz has unlocked Super Saiyan. Knowing there's so many Super Saiyans that's possible, they probably could become it too. This being perfect, them going through that, the androids wouldn't even be they would still be a threat. Vegeta would still wind up getting his ass whooped by 18. But in this version, Nappa jumped in the way and actually basically did a kick that would send 18 flying, just so he could get Vegeta out of there. Though in this version, whenever all of them intervene, even Nappa, they all wind up getting their asses whooped by 17. Only in this version, when Krillin steps up, he's still not going to fight, but he says, "Enough! You fight anymore, you'll kill them. I said enough." And this is when 17 said, "Oh, don't you have a pair on you, boy?" This is when Krillin would say, "I'll lose this fight, but I'll whoop your ass doing it." Oh, really? You think you could? Flash forwarding for 18 to actually hit him in the mouth, saying, "What the hell, 18? Oh, come on, I think he's kind of cute. Besides, he's just trying to stop you from killing them." Kissing the side of his face. Big-ass smirk arriving on Krillin, saying, "Will I see you later?" "Probably." Alright. As this is when Goku is still, had the heart virus and shit. All that would happen. Then they have to deal with the whole Cell games. That basically would all happen as canon. In this version, sure, you have the entire group of Super Saiyans trying to stop Cell in his final form. They ain't doing shit. Goku has to instant transmission in 3 different times and grab them all and just vanish. Though they were all pretty damn whooped to hell. Going in there himself, then Nappa and Broly then Rats and Broly going in there. Once they'd all gone in there, the only thing left was to completely train. Was to completely whoop the shit out of Cell. And that fight actually was exactly as canon. They still see Gohan as the best chance they have, and leave him to do the final fight. Sure, Piccolo yells at Goku saying, "Why would you let him do that?" This is when Broly would say, "Come on, he still thinks they're warming up and Goku's at his peak. He would die if he kept fighting." Really? And then Broly said, "Even if I jumped in the fight, I'd still get my ass whooped." I hate to say it, I would. But in this version, they took 16. They rebuilt him after the Cell games. Goku saying he trusted all of them to take over the Earth while it was time for him to go. This is when Broly said, "No! If you're gone, you're just getting out of it. I'm still here. I'm one of the reasons. Come on. We need you back. I was right there alongside you when we were little. Please, Goku, we're going to need you back." And he said, "Fine, revive me, but I'm going to spend some time training." on King Kai's world. If you'll revive that too, if you wouldn't mind. You got it. Booyah! Revive King Kai, his planet, everyone on that planet. Though that would have revived Cell. This is when you hear, oh no, everyone but Cell. That wish being made, deal. Boom. Goku training on the planet. 7-year time skip. Woo! Then everyone happened to, deal with the whole thing. The same thing happened. Everyone kind of joined the whole Tenkaichi Budokai. Broly wasn't really interested in joining. He didn't really seem to need to, since the only thing he cared about was, working on something. That was against this, with 16, on a nature preserve, with 17, surprisingly enough. So 17 has a lot more time on his hands, since he's got 2 other monstrous powers protecting the place as well. Everything happens and all that, and they actually go all the way until we have to deal with... They actually wind up defeating Boo the same way as canon, though, with fusion. In this version, Raditz and Broly actually fuse as well, using the dance, and wind up actually trying to say, you want to try it? 2-on-1? Booyah! Also, yeah, out of everyone, Broly wound up having the one to really not need a Super Saiyan 3. Though noting that when he was in his Berserk form, no one could stop him. Not even Goku at Super Saiyan 3. And Gohan actually had more reason to keep training. His, well, kind of cousin in this version was still not quite as strong as he was. And she had Super Saiyan 2. She unlocked it second out of everyone. But she was also slightly less powerful than Gohan. Though in no way was she a slacker. Like, her power was so scary that even Videl shit herself whenever she pissed off her. Which kind of the first thing that happened was, whenever Videl wound up getting with Gohan, Videl actually thought she was cheating, that Gohan was cheating on her with some random girl. With the name Leon. With the name... I'm trying to think of a mix between Broly and Launch, but I'm just gonna say... I'm just gonna give her the name... I don't fucking know. Just find any random name up. I'm just fucking saying Rose at this point. So, yeah, Rose. So, Rose being the one to do it. Thinking it was just some girl named Rose who was in the same class as them. This is when he actually explained, this is my cousin. Well, kind of. Adopted cousin, since, her father was adopted by the same man who adopted my father, as kind of a thing. Explaining that much, at least. Saying, alright, well, whatever. As they still end up having Pan, the events of Super go bullshitly different. One, when Beerus came to swinging, Goku was the one who came a swinging back. And this is when Broly actually dropped his suit and tie, saying, I'm going at him. This basically being the oh shit moment, because yeah, sure, Vegeta, when he was swung, he was deadly. But when Broly came out of nowhere, dropping his suit to jump on this motherfucker, it was surprising. Since they all knew Goku Super Saiyan 3 was not weak. But honestly, it was just not good enough for them. Broly's Berserk form was an unstoppable force. No one's ever been able to even touch him in that form. Hell, it takes all of them to jump him, using their beam attack to slow him down. And even then, that just barely knocks him to his senses so he doesn't kill them. Hell, there's been a few times where they just had to solar flare his ass and use all their pressure point knowledge to stop him. This is where Broly would open his eyes, yelling, Beerus! As loud as he could, as Beerus said, oh, and who are you going to boom? With a punch hitting Beerus straight in the face at 5% power, Beerus spits out blood saying, oh, you really think you can boom, 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 beating the hell out of the God of Destruction. This is when, and I'm going to say at this point he's actually as strong as he was in the movie. And Super Saiyan 3 is actually, Goku's actually way stronger physically than he was in canon. All of them are. Well, he actually isn't quite at that level. He's at the level where he's at the level where you need to use more than just a few percentages to fight. Even Beerus starts spitting out a little bit of blood, saying, all that for a drop of blood. Once he took Broly to the ground, though, and knocked him clean out, saying Broly was done. And when Bulma went to slap him, and then Beerus slaps Bulma, you hear, my Bulma. But in this version, you hear, as Broly opened his eyes, as Launch was right next to Bulma slapping him as well, as was Chi-Chi. And Goku already made his presence known in this version. He sees Chi-Chi get slapped, Launch get slapped, and Bulma get slapped. And this is when you hear, ah! Everyone turning their head, even we saying, oh shit. Broly going into his full berserk form, being stronger than it was in the movie. This is when we said, oh my. Vegeta hit his full power, kicking into Super Saiyan 3, and even went above that. Using his Ozaru form in it as well, being way more muscular. Even faster though. Goku does the same thing with his own Super Saiyan 3, as this is when Raditz would say, oh, now you done fucked up. Powering up into his own Super Saiyan 2. Using the Ozaru form in it as well, trying to, only in case of emergency, jump in. Gohan, who's actually pissed off at the point where he's actually saying, honey, hold Pan. As enraged as this was, and he basically then goes into his own ultimate form with the Ozaru from underneath it, saying, you're dead now. Everyone turning their heads, seeing Gohan even yelling out with dropping his glasses, as they all jumped on Beerus. Beerus saying, oh shit, actually using around 90% of his strength and speed trying to dodge all these people. Saying, holy shit, they hit like they're actually gods of destruction. We saying, well, my lord, do you need me to step in? No, Whis. As he completely just side kicks full force into the stomach of Gohan. Gohan spits out blood and hit him in the face full force, knocking almost a tooth out of Beerus' face. As they would actually wind up hearing, everyone turning, Beerus looking back behind Gohan just to see Broly's big ass running at him. Oh shit. Boom! One shot to the face. Boom, boom, boom. Started bouncing Beerus off of his fists. This is for Beerus to say, enough! Boom! One shot to Broly at full force, using 100% of his strength, even putting a little bit of Hakai energy into that one. Wouldn't destroy Broly, would knock him the fuck out. As he got knocked out, he said, ugh. Falling back down to earth, being caught by Goten, as Gohan fell down too, Trunks being the one to catch him, as they hit the floor combined, as those two collapsed. Goku and Vegeta, however, are still fighting in their Super Saiyan 3 forms, which weren't as strong as Broly, but they're as damn close as it'll get. You hear boom, boom, boom. This is where they both get sent flying backwards and knocked out with the chop to the neck. This is when they suggest the Dragon Balls, and that was actually used. Everything would go as canon. Goku gets Super Saiyan God. In this version, so does Broly and Vegeta, as well as Gohan. That's 4 people who get Super Saiyan God. If you're thinking, oh, that's way too many people to get Super Saiyan God, more Saiyans. That's all. There's 4 more Saiyans, there's 4 more of them. So, yeah. Now, this is where you hear, ha ha ha, as they all 3 jump Beerus in God form. Beerus saying, it's not as much as I had to using earlier, getting jumped by all of them, but it's still not easy. Even if it is a 4-on-1, Beerus knows how to take on 4-on-1, just not the way they were doing it before. They were berserk. There was no way to tell their movements. Now, there was, though it wasn't perfect. So, yeah, they could only tell a few of them. And the ones they could tell weren't perfect. as this is where Broly would still end up having to fight, and they would still barely win, actually barely lose, for Beerus to say, alright, blow up a rock, I've destroyed part of the planet Earth. Well now, let's get some food. As Beerus started eating and everything, going back to his planet, and then, you know, requesting, putting in all that shit, not being a big deal, then being able to get it for him. Then, you have the whole thing where they actually have to fight in the Tournament of Power, because Goku's big-ass mouth. And you know what? I'm not going to change anything of what would happen in the tournament, so I'm going to say everyone was busy that wasn't in that little Universe 6 vs. 7 tournament. So, this is where a huge difference would occur, as the entirety of the Tournament of Power goes different. One, none of the people from there's a huge difference in members, alright? So yeah, in this version, instead of the 4 humans, you have the 4 Saiyans. The 4 other Saiyans. And the 4 other Saiyans being by that I mean, look, it's 10 yeah, I'm pretty certain it's 10 members. And here we go. Let's see them off. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Broly, Raditz, Android 17, 16, Android 17 and 18, 3 places left, and then I guess you could have the, I guess you could put Roshi and Krillin and Tien as the last spot, but they were thinking, wait a minute, saying, hey, Roshi? Yeah, would you mind? Yeah, we're gonna need your help, so yeah, stay here. As they hear, alright, now, let's have this match. And they honestly just dominate everyone but Jiren. Literally. Even Vegeta just utterly beats the shit out of Topo. Goku and Broly want to beat the hell out of Jiren. With Raditz having to jump in as well. This being an ultimate jumping, as at the end of it, they were all done. Even Goku unlocking Ultra Instinct would still happen. Even showing Master Ultra Instinct, as he would basically be completely done. Like I said, easy. And then the events of the Broly movie would just be Paragus coming back. Paragus, who's done nothing but train over the past, so long. While he is still gray-haired, he's also hugely more muscular than he was in canon. Noticing it was his son saying, Broly, my boy, I am your father. What are you doing, Vegeta? You pay for your father's sin. And this is where you hear, no, he won't. I don't care if you are my father, you will not attack him. He's done good over the past few years. Now stop. Even winding up needing to be told to stop, he wound up living next to Nappa. And all that would basically happen. And that's it. Oh, by the way, for the events of the new movie that's coming out, where Gohan powers up into that new form that's supposed to be, stronger than Goku and all that, I'm gonna say he would still get that. That would still happen as canon. So, yeah, that's it. Just more people there. That's all.